Gee whiz.
Hello, friends. My name is John Henderson. Welcome to this series of old-time radio show episodes called Gee Whiz. These are the stories of the schemes, trials, and loves of the typical American teenagers, Andy Hardy, Archie Andrews, and Henry Aldrich. That character, Henry Aldrich, was played on the radio by Ezra Stone and on the screen by Jimmy Linden, like in the 1943 movie Henry Aldrich Haunts a House.
Henry Aldrich!
Coming, Mother!
Henry, we'd better ditch school and get right out to Creep House and see what we can find out.
But the place is just crawling with policemen.
Then we'd better go tonight.
Tonight? You mean when it's dark? I've stuck by Henry on some pretty gruesome incidents, but no, thank you.
So enjoy another day in the life of Henry and his teachers and his pals in this episode of The Aldrich Family.
No one has ever yet succeeded in crowding into one definition all the amazing characteristics of a typical teenage American boy. The best you can do is to say, boys will be boys, and let it go at that. This is especially true of Henry Aldrich. The scene opens in an empty classroom at Central High.
Henry, let's go. I'm hungry.
Wait a minute, Homer. Do you hear footsteps out there in the hall?
Sure, all the kids are going downstairs to eat their lunch like sensible human beings.
But do you hear any footsteps that sound like Mr. Nelson?
Henry, what are you afraid of?
Who's afraid? I'm not afraid.
Then why are you holding my hand?
Look, Homer, just open the door, see?
Sure, and we'll both go downstairs and eat our lunch.
No, Homer. Just peek out into the hall and tell me when you see Mr. Nelson going into the teacher's room.
Okay, Hen, but...
Don't stick your head out.
How can I see him if I don't stick my head out?
But he might see you.
Is that bad?
Quick, Homer, close the door.
But, Henry, I'm hungry.
Here, have my lunch. I've got glue on my mind.
Oh, boy.
Look, all we have to do is wait till Mr. Nelson is safely inside the teacher's room.
Yeah, why?
Homer, isn't it clear? I've got to keep out of his way. Although, gee whiz, it wasn't even my fault. I don't think.
What wasn't?
Knocking over the glue pot in manual training. Besides, I was just doing Willie a good turn by helping him knock his block off.
Helping him what?
Knock his block off. Knock his block off. He went and put one block too many in his inlaid breadboard.
And you knocked over a whole pot of glue?
No, gee whiz, it was only half full.
Well, but Mr. Nelson threw a fit.
You know what really made him mad? He stepped in the glue, see, and walked right out of his shoe. Yeah, and right there in the toe of his sock was about the biggest hole I've ever seen.
Gee whiz. Gee, you don't ever think of teachers as being real human beings with holes in their socks, do you?
And I'm not sure, but I think he had one in the heel, too.
Boy, Henry.
Sure. So tell me the truth. Do you think I deserve to get a detention for a little thing like that?
Gee whiz, did Mr. Nelson give you a detention?
Not yet. That's why I'm avoiding him. All he said was he'd look into the glue pot later. Homer, somebody's coming.
Well, Henry, my peanut butter sandwich.
Quick, get under the desk.
Henry, you're sitting on me.
Stop squirming, Homer. We'll show.
How could we?
Henry! My goodness, what are you and Homer doing under that desk?
Oh, Kathleen, I thought you were... Homer, get up.
I can't. I'm underneath.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
My goodness, I was just talking about you.
About me, Kathleen?
Homer, what could I possibly say about you?
That's true.
It was about the basketball game this afternoon, Henry.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, the basketball game.
And my goodness, the silliest thing happened. Guess who asked me to go to the game with him? Charlie Clark.
Charlie Clark?
Well, you know how he pesters me. He even wanted to take me out for soda afterwards. My goodness, I suppose he thinks I'd be the envy of all the girls if I went with him.
Wouldn't they be envious if you went with Henry?
Homer, don't be ridiculous.
Of course, Homer, don't be ridiculous.
Kathleen, what's so ridiculous about that?
And Henry, Charlie said if at the last minute you couldn't take me to the game to let him know.
Oh, he did? Well, gee, what did he mean by that?
Well, that's what I wondered. You are going to take me, aren't you, Henry?
Well, sure, Kathleen, absolutely. I might be, well, a couple of minutes late, but I'll be there. I'm pretty sure.
There's nothing wrong, is there, Henry?
Wrong? Gee whiz, no. Everything, the things have never been better. I think.
Then why are you and Homer waiting here in this classroom?
Why, we like it here, where it's quiet.
Oh. Well, then I'll meet you at Miss Trevor's classroom at 3:45.
Sure. Oh, Kathleen, is anybody out in the hall?
No, Henry.
The coast is clear, Homer. Come on.
Nobody said Miss Nelson. Bye.
What, Mr. Nelson?
Sure, Henry. Here he comes down the hall.
Oh, boy, Homer, look. I'll be taking a drink from the water fountain here. You stand in front of me.
Okay, bend over.
Act nonchalant, Homer.
Nonchalant.
Hello there, Homer.
Gee, hello, Mr. Nelson. How are you?
Just fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
That's fine.
Fine.
Would you mind stepping aside, Homer? I'd like to get a drink.
A drink
If you please.
of water?
Unless they've started putting soda pop in the fountains.
Well, that would be an awfully good idea, don't you think?
Homer, step aside.
Yes, sir.
Why, Henry.
Why, Mr. Nelson. Gee, the one person in school
You wanted to speak to me, Henry?
Yes, sir, I just want to apologize for that little accident this morning in manual training.
Which accident do you mean?
When I accidentally, and through no fault of my own, helped knock over the glue pot.
You mean you were the one who knocked it over?
You mean you didn't know?
Well, Henry, as much as I admire your honesty...
Yes, sir?
I'm afraid I'll have to give you a detention. Mr. Bradley's rules, you know.
A detention? This afternoon?
Yes, Henry, in my room right after school.
But, Mr. Nelson...
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm eating my lunch here in the teacher's room.
Oh, boy.
Hello there, Nelson.
How are you, Prescott? This seat taken?
No, go ahead. I just came from band practice. Have you got an aspirin?
Afraid not. I used all mine.
Does anyone know what'll take chalk off?
Oh, is it good to sit down? My feet are killing me.
Well, I'll trade you my head for your feet any day. So, aren't you eating?
Not yet. All I want to do is sit here and relax.
Oh, Mr. Nelson, someone to see you.
Oh, why does everything always go wrong on Monday?
Is this only Monday? My head feels like Friday.
Yes? What kind? Oh, it's you again, Henry.
Yes, sir. Gee, how are you anyway, Mr. Nelson?
Frankly, I'm hungry.
Why, I was just wondering, Mr. Nelson, was it this afternoon you said you wanted me to take my detention?
It was.
Or was it tomorrow afternoon?
It was this afternoon.
Not tomorrow?
Henry.
That's all right, Mr. Nelson. I'll be glad to stay after school. Only, what do you think our basketball team is going to do today?
What they usually do, lose.
Oh. Mr. Nelson, did I tell you how sorry I am I knocked over your sock? I mean your glue. Gee whiz.
I'm sorry, too, Henry. Now, was that all you had
I
on
just
your...
hope your shoes are all right.
They will be, once I get them loose from the floor up there.
Well, gee whiz, what are you wearing?
These gym shoes are very comfortable.
Gym shoes?
I had to borrow them from Charlie Clark.
Charlie, oh, boy. Mr. Nelson, about this afternoon.
About this afternoon, Henry. I'll see you at 3:30.
Yes, sir. Just before the basketball game?
That's right.
Oh.
Now, if you'll excuse me.
Who is that, Nelson?
The Aldrich boy.
Oh, yes? What do you want coming in here?
He didn't say. Nice boy, that Henry.
Are you sure you haven't got any aspirin?
Positive. I hated to have to give him a detention, but you know how Mr. Bradley is.
I sure do.
Have to keep your finger on everybody's pulse, you know.
Speaking of pulse, look who just came in.
Well, Miss Trevor.
Mr. Nelson, Mr. Prescott?
Here, have my chair, Miss Trevor.
Oh, no, have mine.
Why don't I just take this empty one right here?
What's that in the basket, Miss Trevor?
Apples. I just cleaned out my desk. Anyone like one?
No, thank you.
I'll have one.
Well, I'll have one, too.
Will you have one of my lettuce sandwiches, Miss Trevor?
No, thank you. I can only stay a minute. Mr. Nelson, about the basketball game this afternoon.
Oh, I'm certainly sorry you can't go with me, Miss Trevor.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Nelson, I got those papers marked last night.
Oh?
So I will be able to go with you after all.
Why, that's great. Yes, well...
Nelson, didn't you say you had a detention this afternoon?
Say, I'd forgotten all about that.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'll tell you what, Miss Trevor, I don't mind being second choice.
What?
Suppose I pick you up at your room at 3:30.
Well,
now, just a minute. I can get out of this detention.
Oh, no, you can't, Nelson. Miss Trevor, I'll pick you up at 3:30.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Prescott.
Thank you, operator. I'll wait.
But, Henry, why are you phoning your mother?
I'm just using my head, Homer. I can get out of this detention.
You can.
If I can just replace that glue I spilled, I'm pretty sure Mr. Nelson will be reasonable about the whole thing.
Hello?
Now, get out of the phone booth, Homer. Hello, Mother.
Henry, why aren't you in school?
I am. I'm right here in Miss Shea's booth.
You're not in any kind of trouble, are you, dear?
Trouble? Well, gee, why do you say a thing like that? I just happened to be passing the phone, see, and I have 5 minutes before my next class.
Yeah?
And how are you?
I'm fine. Is that all you phoned for?
Sure, and could you please send Mary down here with a can of glue?
A can of what?
Glue, Mother, glue. What you used to stick shoes to. I mean furniture legs.
Dear, what do you want glue for?
For manual training. The can they had sort of ran out, see? And, well, I thought it might help matters if I supplied them with an extra one.
Well, that's very nice of you, Henry, but can't it wait until tomorrow?
No. Gee whiz, if I don't get it today, I'll probably get a detention.
What's that?
Oh, Henry.
Oh, boy.
Henry, did you say a detention?
Look, Mother, will you please tell Mary to run all the way? Goodbye.
Henry, I'm glad I found you.
Yes, Mr. Nelson?
I've been thinking over what you said to me in the teacher's room.
Gee, I didn't mean anything by that.
I know. But when you said you thought your detention was tomorrow...
Oh, I realize now that it's today.
But,
Only
Henry,
I wondered what you'd think, Mr. Nelson, if I were to replace the glue I spilled.
That won't be necessary, Henry.
You mean it wouldn't help matters any?
Henry, in view of the fact that you did clean up all the glue...
All except what spattered into the bandsaw.
You spattered glue on the bandsaw?
You mean you didn't know?
Well, Henry, even if you did...
And I realize, Mr. Nelson, that you have to punish me for it. Gee whiz, if you teachers didn't keep discipline around here, who would?
Well, Henry, what I had in mind was...
Mr. Nelson, I hope you won't think I'm being forward, but... Mr. Nelson, what would you think of this?
Of what?
How would you like to have sort of a right hand all the rest of the year?
What's that?
Gee, I'll clean up the manual training room and sharpen the chisels and carry messages for you and help you mark papers.
No, Henry, I don't think...
I'll do anything if you'll just release me from that detention today. Anything you ever ask me to do, Mr. Nelson, no matter what it is.
Henry, I certainly appreciate your offer.
Gee whiz, you do?
Therefore, Henry, yes, Mr. Bradley.
Please step into my office for a moment.
Certainly, Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Nelson, about my proposition...
I'll be back in a minute, Henry. Wait right there.
Sure, Mr. Nelson, I'd be glad to.
This way, Mr. Nelson.
Hey, Homer, come here.
Sit down, please.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Now then, Mr. Nelson, something quite serious has just happened.
Oh? Oh, it has?
It has.
Oh.
I've just received a call from a mother who claims that we're forcing her boy to supply glue for manual training.
What's that?
And, Mr. Nelson, when this mother pointed out that she pays taxes to buy just such items as glue, you can imagine my position.
Yes, sir, but...
I was without an answer, Mr. Nelson.
Yes, sir, but...
Mr. Nelson, if you ran out of glue in manual training this morning, may I ask why you didn't report it to me?
But, Mr. Bradley, we have plenty of glue in manual training. Lacquer that we're out of. Or is it varnish? No, I'm sure it's lacquer.
You're sure?
Yes, sir.
You're quite sure?
Why, I'm almost sure, sir.
I see. So, Mr. Nelson, you claim you have plenty of glue?
Yes, sir.
Now, would you please tell me how many pots?
Why, we have somewhere between, well, I know we have plenty, Mr. Bradley.
Plenty. I see. Mr. Nelson, when the school board asked me how many students we had registered in Central High, do you think I replied plenty?
No, sir.
No, sir. I replied, I told them how many we had.
Yes, sir.
It appears to me, Mr. Nelson, that it must be quite difficult for you to teach manual training with only a vague idea as to the amount of your supplies.
Yes, sir.
You admit it's difficult.
Why, it isn't exactly, that is...
It would be easier if you knew what you had in the storeroom.
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Bradley, much easier.
And then I'm sure you'll agree with me that you ought to take a complete inventory of your manual training room supplies.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Begin right after your last class this afternoon, Mr. Nelson, and I want all the figures on my desk by 5 o'clock.
This afternoon, Mr. Bradley? I mean, you don't mean tomorrow afternoon.
I mean this afternoon.
Oh.
That will be all, Mr. Nelson.
Yes, Mr. Bradley, and, well, thank you, sir.
We have to keep our finger on everybody's pulse, you know.
Yes, sir. I know.
Here I am, Mr. Nelson. I'm still waiting.
Waiting for what?
Why, for your answer to my proposition. You know, about my helping you whenever you need help.
Oh, yes, Henry, I remember. Please report to the storeroom at 3:30 this afternoon.
This afternoon?
We're going to take inventory. And since it may take 3 or 4 hours, you better get some sandwiches from the cafeteria.
Sandwiches? You mean we'll be that long? But Mr. Nelson...
That's all right, Henry. Just charge them to me.
But Mr. Nelson...
Hey, Henry.
What, Homer?
I caught her.
You caught who?
Kathleen, like you just told me to. And I told you were taking her out for a soda after the basketball game.
Homer, you didn't.
And she was so excited, she kissed me.
Oh, boy.
So I threw in a movie.
Oh, boy.
Now, I don't have to tell you folks how good Jell-O puddings are. Yes, Jell-O chocolate, butterscotch, and vanilla puddings, a trio of treats, chock full of old-fashioned homemade goodness. And say, ever try chocolate peppermint pudding? Just prepare one package of smooth, velvety Jell-O chocolate pudding as usual. While still warm, add crushed peppermint stick candy, let it chill, then top with whipped cream and sprigs of mint. All 3 Jell-O puddings made with milk are nourishing, and they cook to perfection in just about 5 minutes. No wonder more people buy Jell-O puddings than any other prepared puddings in the world. And now, getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry's plans to take Kathleen to a basketball game this afternoon have been shattered by an after-school detention from Mr. Nelson. As a result of his efforts to avoid it, Henry and Mr. Nelson are now tied up for the whole afternoon taking inventory. The scene opens in Mr. Aldrich's office. It is later the same afternoon.
Hello?
Hello, is that Mr. Aldrich?
Yes, is that you, Homer?
Sure. Gee, how are you?
Well, I'm fine.
Mr. Aldrich, Henry wants to know if you'd mind having your secretary, Miss Thompson, run down here to school with your adding machine.
Adding machine? What for?
To speed things up. And while she's here, would you mind if Henry borrowed Miss Thompson?
What's that?
Then maybe he could polish this whole thing off in an hour and see the finish of the basketball game anyway.
Homer, what on earth are you talking about?
An inventory, Mr. Aldrich, in manual training.
Henry's taking inventory?
Yes, sir.
But isn't that a teacher's job?
Sure. Mr. Nelson's helping him.
Yes, but where does Henry come in? Why aren't some of the other teachers helping Mr. Nelson?
Why, there don't seem to be any available. I think they're all going to the basketball game.
Yeah? And dumping their work off on the students?
Oh, no, it's just that Mr. Nelson and Henry sort of felt Henry should help Mr. Nelson.
Now, just a minute. Let's get to the bottom of this.
The bottom? Well, I think Henry would just as soon you didn't.
What's that?
He'd just as soon you forgot the whole thing. Goodbye.
Homer, wait. Homer, come back here.
Can't you write all this down faster, Henry?
Yes, Mr. Nelson.
53 hacksaw blades.
53 hacksaw blades.
2 kegs, 3-inch nails.
2 kegs, 3-inch nails.
26 pots of glue.
Gee, we've got plenty of that, haven't we?
Just put down 26.
Yes, sir.
Now, 12 quarts mahogany stain.
12 quarts of mahogany stain.
1 case tomato soup.
What?
Now, wait a minute. That belongs down in domestic science.
Gee, look at the time, Mr. Nelson. 3:40. When's the basketball game supposed to start?
4 o'clock.
Oh, boy. Gee, Mr. Nelson, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
Now, what is it?
Frankly, do you think Charlie Clark is so handsome?
Yeah, I suppose he is, to a girl.
Gee, I hope not. You know who I'd really call handsome? That Mr. Prescott, for instance.
Prescott? Let's get back to our inventory.
Gee whiz, it's Homer. Mr. Nelson, would you mind if I stepped out of the storeroom just a second and had a word with my friend?
All right, but don't take more than a minute.
I won't.
Henry, I just phoned your father, and it's no use.
Why not?
He started asking too many questions.
Oh, boy. Then there's only one thing to do. Homer, you've got to take Kathleen to the basketball game for me.
I do?
Here are the tickets, and here's the money for the sodas. And don't let her even talk to Charlie Clark.
Okay, sure. It'll be a pleasure.
And be sure she has a real good time, Homer.
Oh, boy. I'll say I will.
Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean by that?
Oh, boy.
Now, wait, Homer. Let's talk this over.
Homer.
Yes, Mr. Nelson.
Will you drop this case of tomato soup off in domestic science on your way down?
I'd be glad to, Mr. Nelson. Is it creamed or clear?
Never mind. Just get it down there right away.
Homer.
So long, Hen. Thanks for everything.
Homer, come back here.
Something wrong, Henry?
Mr. Nelson, did you see that look on Homer's face?
What about it?
Gee whiz, I'd be better off if she went to the game with Charlie.
But, Homer, the game starts in 10 minutes.
I know. Do you mind if I set this case of soup down?
Where's Henry? I've been waiting and waiting.
That's what I want to talk to you about, Kathleen. Guess who you're going to the game with?
Not Henry?
No, he has to take inventory up in the storeroom.
Inventory?
So guess who's taking you to the game?
Not Charlie Clark.
Guess again.
Homer, I can't. Who?
Me.
You?
Sure.
I'm I'm going to the game with you?
Sure.
Right out in public?
And I'm taking you out for a soda afterward. What do you say about that?
Homer, I'm speechless.
I thought you would be.
And I must say, you certainly have your nerve.
What?
Sneaking around behind your best friend's back and trying to steal his girlfriend right from under his nose.
But, Kathleen, he gave you to me.
Henry Aldrich would never do a thing like that to me.
Kathleen, are you insulting me?
Goodbye, Homer.
Where are you going?
I'm going up to the storeroom and help Henry take inventory.
But, Kathleen, students aren't allowed up there without permission.
I'll get in somehow.
Okay, Kathleen. That's your attitude. Where's my tomato soup?
Right there.
Okay, and see if I ever speak to either one of you again.
Homer, watch where you're going.
Just wait till you ever want me to...
Homer, look out for the stairs!
Hey, what?
What was that again, Mr. Aldrich?
I just said, Mr. Bradley, that I don't want you to think of me as a complaining parent.
Oh, no, of course not, Mr. Aldrich. Why, one of my greatest pleasures as principal is hearing from our parents.
Well, that's fine, Mr. Bradley. Now, I realize it's a small thing, but my boy has his heart set on going to that basketball game this afternoon.
Of course
and
he
it seems
has.
to me just a bit unfair to force him to take an inventory just because all the teachers want to go to the game.
Oh, is that what's happened, Mr. Aldrich?
Didn't you know, Mr. Bradley?
Oh, why,
I assume you know what's going on in your own school.
Why, I do, Mr. Aldrich, I do. I do. As a matter of fact, I was just about to clamp down on that very thing.
I'm glad to hear it, Mr. Bradley.
Although I'm sure, Mr. Aldrich, you'll agree with me, our teachers ought to attend the school basketball game.
Certainly, Mr. Bradley, just as long as they don't neglect their own work and keep students from attending.
You're entirely right, Mr. Aldrich. I'll look into Henry immediately. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Aldrich. Let's hear from you again. Miss Shea! Miss Shea!
Yes, Mr. Bradley?
Miss Shea, have all the teachers gone to the game this afternoon?
Well, I'm not sure, Mr. Bradley.
You're not sure. Miss Shea, as my secretary, it seems to me you ought to know what's going on in this school.
Yes, Mr. Bradley.
Didn't any of the teachers have papers to mark or lessons to prepare? Didn't any of them have detention?
Well?
Yes, Miss Shea?
Well, Miss Nelson is taking inventory.
Inventory? Go up there and tell Henry Aldrich I want to see him immediately.
This is still Miss Trevor's classroom, isn't it, Mr. Nelson?
Henry, I'm beginning to wonder.
This is where Kathleen said to meet her. Gee whiz, I wonder where they are. We're only a few minutes late.
Henry, are you sure Mr. Bradley said to drop the inventory?
Positive, Mr. Nelson. Gee, he was as nice as pie.
That's strange.
Mm-hmm. He said to go to the game and to remember all the good plays so I could tell my father.
Oh, Mr. Nelson.
Oh, there's Miss Trevor now.
And Kathleen, too. Hi, Kathleen. Am I glad to see you?
Hello, Henry.
Mr. Nelson, can I speak to you alone for a minute?
Why, of course. What is it?
I'm afraid it's bad news.
Henry.
Boy, Kathleen, let's get going to the game. I'm finally all straightened out.
You are? Well, look.
For a while, I was pretty worried, Kathleen. I thought I'd never get to take it.
Henry.
But everything's all right now. Come on.
But that's just it, Henry. I can't go.
You can't go? Why not?
Henry, I was only on my way to help you with your inventory when...
Kathleen.
Oh, my goodness, Mr. Bradley.
You'll have to excuse Kathleen, Henry. She has a 2-hour detention this afternoon.
Detention?
Yes, here in Miss Trevor's room. Henry, what would you think of a young lady who climbs around on fire escapes?
Fire escapes, Kathleen?
Oh, Miss Trevor.
Yes, Mr. Bradley?
The sooner you begin your detention, the sooner you will be free to talk to Mr. Nelson.
Gee whiz, Kathleen. Gee, you mean I have to go to the basketball game with somebody like Homer?
Homer can't go either.
He can't?
He's down in the nurse's office. They're reviving him with tomato soup.
I'm sorry I can't go to the game with you, Mr. Nelson.
I'm sorry, too, Miss Trevor.
Come along, Kathleen.
Goodbye, Henry.
Goodbye, Kathleen. Gee whiz.
I know exactly how you feel, Henry.
Mr. Nelson.
Yes, Henry?
Mr. Nelson, how would you like to go to the basketball game with me?
I'd be delighted, Henry. Let's go.
Henry, are you still mad because Kathleen just happened to accidentally kiss me? Henry?
Huh.
Won't you even speak to me? Henry?
Huh.
Oh, Mr. Seymour.
Yes, Homer.
Will you ask Henry why he won't shake hands with me and end this whole thing?
Sure thing. But first, let me tell the folks about the happiest ending a meal ever came to. Yep, it's Jell-O, the luscious, shimmering dessert everybody goes for. Because you just can't beat Jell-O for tempting fruit-like goodness. In any one of those 6 delicious flavors: strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, or lime. Every Jell-O flavor is a special treat in itself, rich with that famous locked-in goodness. Flavor sealed right in by a special process, so it can't get out till your first delectable spoonful. And that's why Jell-O is America's favorite gelatin dessert.
Here's hoping you'll be in your living room and ours next week at the same time. Good night, folks.
The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone as Henry with Jackie Kelk as Homer, is written by Patricia Jowdry and Del Dinsdale, with music by Jack Miller. Mr. and Mrs. Aldrich are House Jameson and Catherine Roth. And this is Dan Seymour in New York saying, The Aldrich Family is brought to you by the Jell-O family.
For desserts that are delicious, boy, believe me, you should know. They are made by famous Jell-O.
Listen again next Thursday, same time, same station, to another sparkling half hour with the Aldrich Family.
That was an episode of the Aldrich Family, and now, the Archies.
Mr. Factory, don't you care? Soon the children won't have any air. Oh, Mr. Motorcar, stop a while. We can't wait another mile.
When we look at prices from the 1950s, everything seems incredibly inexpensive to us. But even then, people were trying to save a little money. Here's an episode of Archie from June 3rd, 1951.
And now for our weekly visit to Riverdale. It's Saturday afternoon as we look in on the Andrews home, but this Saturday, being the beginning of a new month, we find Mr. Andrews seated at his desk in the living room, engaged in the very unpleasant occupation of paying last month's bills.
9, 5 or 14, 7 is 21, and 11 is 32. Makes $32.48, and that settles that. Whew, these bills. Money, 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 money. Everybody and his brother wants money.
Oh, Fred, can I have some money?
I guess I was wrong.
Wrong? Wrong about what?
Mary, before you walked in here, I remarked to myself that everybody and his brother wants money. I should have said everybody and his brother and my wife wants money.
Oh, Fred, I only want my weekly allowance so I can go shopping.
Mary, I know what you only want, but just look at these bills.
Oh, you always have a lot of bills on the first of the month.
That's exactly the point. There was just no reason why a small family living as modestly as we do should spend the kind of money we spend. Mary, we've got to start economizing.
But, Fred, we entertain very little. We go out very rarely. We buy only the clothes we need. And we have no servants except the cleaning woman once a week. Now, what's there to economize on?
Everything.
What?
I said everything, dear. If there are no big items to cut down on, then we've got to cut down a little on the small items. That's the only way to save money. Now, just watch the pennies everywhere. The dollars will take care of themselves.
Fred, that's ridiculous.
You're right. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, Mary, what is ridiculous?
All this talk about saving pennies. It's more trouble than it's worth, and it never amounts to a thing.
Oh, is that so? Well, Mrs. Andrews, you've got a surprise in store for you. I am going to start a campaign right now to save every penny we can possibly save. And I'm going to keep a record of every penny I save today, and I'm going to show you just how much it adds up to in just one day.
Oh, Fred.
Why, I bet we can save as much as $2 in one day just by watching the little things. And $2 a day is $14 a week. And $14 a week is $56 a month. And $56 a month
Fred,
is...
all right, I get the point. It's $2 million by the time we're 90 years old.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead and save if you've got such a saving bug.
That's just what I'm going to do. Yes, sir. And you just watch how much we can save today just by turning off the lights we don't use and not wasting anything, and by your watching how you shop. And
how I shop? Fred Andrews, are you insinuating I don't know how to shop?
Mary, I am not insinuating, but I'm sure you could shop more wisely if you wanted to. Here, just hand me that shopping list of yours, and I'll bet a nickel I can show you how to save money.
Well, I'd like to see you find anything wrong with this list.
All right, let's see. Bread, tomatoes, and coffee. Aha! Just what I thought. Just exactly what I thought.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? Here, look at this first item. 3 cans of tomatoes. 3 cans of tomato juice. Now, will you tell me why we need 3 cans of tomato juice when we only drink it out of those itty-bitty juice glasses?
Fred, it so happens that tomato juice is 10 cents a can, but I get 3 for 25 cents.
Oh, you do?
I certainly do.
Well, that's good. Fine. But what about the rest of this list? All this other stuff that says just one of everything.
But, dear, that's all I need.
Aha. See? You're not using your foresight. If you can save money by buying 3 at a time, then buy 3 of everything on the list. Sure. If you don't use it today, you'll use it tomorrow. Now, I'll correct this list for you right now. 3 bottles of vanilla extract. 3 boxes of black pepper. 3 loaves of bread. 3 dozen bananas. 3 boxes of sugar, 3 bunches of parsley, 3 dozen eggs, and 3 watermelons. There you are. Now, that's what I call smart shopping. That's going to save money.
Oh, for pity's sake. Fred, you can't buy 3 of everything like this and expect to save anything.
And I say you can. In fact, I insist you buy everything on this list.
Oh, you insist, do you?
I do. By George, if I pay the bills around here, then I'm going to have something to say about how the money is spent. Now, I want you to buy everything on this list, just the way I wrote it down, and that settles that.
All right, Mr. Efficiency Expert, if that's the way you feel, I'll buy everything on this list and show you it doesn't say the thing.
Oh, is that so? Well, I'll show you that...
Hiya, Dad.
Oh, hello, Archie. Mary, I'll show you...
Hiya, Mom.
Hello, dear.
Mary, I'll show...
How's everyone today?
Fine. Mary, I'll show you...
Swell day today, isn't it?
Archie! All right. So it's a swell day today, but I'm trying to talk to your mother. Do you mind?
Gee whiz, Dad, I don't mind.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Archie!
Okay, Dad, okay.
Now, Mary, as I was about to say, you go and buy everything on that list, and I'll show you that it does save money. But you be sure and write down exactly what everything costs now, because I'm going to keep a record.
Yes, dear. Maybe we ought to hire a certified public accountant.
Now, Mary, I see no reason for sarcasm. This is an important experiment.
Yes, Doctor.
Doctor, what do you mean by that? Mary?
She's gone, Dad.
Oh, that woman. I get no cooperation from her whatsoever. None at all.
Gee whiz, Dad, what's this all about?
Archie, this is all about money.
Huh?
That's right, money. I've decided we spend entirely too much money around here, and from now on, we are going to save money every way we can possibly think of.
Well, gee, Dad, I know a wonderful way to save money.
You do?
Sure.
Yeah.
You see, I got a date with Veronica tonight.
Yes?
And that's going to save us a lot of money.
Archie, how is a date with Veronica going to save us money?
Well, you see, Dad, I've decided that whenever I see Veronica from now on, I'm gonna save a penny every time I hold her tight.
Oh, fine. Now, Archie...
And we're gonna watch the pennies grow.
Look, Archie, would you...
I'm gonna save a penny every time we kiss goodnight.
Tommy, I give
And
up.
then when we are married, we can own a bungalow. A penny a kiss, a penny a hug. We're gonna save our pennies in a big brown jug. A penny a kiss, a penny a hug. Oh, how rich we're gonna be. I'm gonna save a penny when we're cuddled in a clinch, closer than a quarter after 3. With all the saving that we do, it's practically a cinch that everyone in town will think we own a money tree. Oh, a penny a kiss, a penny a hug. We're gonna save our pennies in a big brown jug. A penny a kiss, a penny a hug. Oh, how rich we're gonna, oh, how rich we're gonna, oh, how rich we're gonna be. Well, Dad, how'd you like that?
Archie, look. The song was very nice, but I am not in the mood right now for songs or for joking about this saving business. I'm serious about this. Saving money is a serious thing, son.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about, Dad.
Saving?
No, money.
Money.
Uh-huh. Today's the day when I get my allowance.
Oh, fine. Well, Archie, you will get your allowance,
Good.
but you will get it just as you should get it.
Huh?
I mean that after taking into account all the little advances you got last week that I usually just forget about...
Gee whiz, what advances?
Well, if I remember correctly, you got your full allowance last Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And on Monday, you needed another $1 for lunches at school.
Well, yes.
And on Wednesday, you borrowed another 50 cents to go to the movies.
Well, yes.
And on Friday, you borrowed another quarter for a soda.
Yes.
All right. Then we now have the record straight. So figuring the advances you've had all week, here, Archie, is your allowance.
A dime? Gee whiz, Dad, is that all you're going to give me, a dime?
No, Archie. That's all the allowance you have left. From now on, you'll just have to stay within your allowance and like it.
Oh, but, Dad, I got a date with Veronica tonight. I got to have some money.
Archie, I told you, from now on, we are out to save money. So you'd better get used to the idea. Now, I'll just write this down. Saved $1.75 on Archie's allowance. Yes, sir. Wait till Mary sees that. $1.75 saved right off the bat.
But, Dad, I can't
Archie,
have it.
no buts about it. You'll have to cancel your date with Veronica or take her out for a walk or something.
She was okay. I guess I better call her up and tell her.
Yes, you do that. Just pick up the phone and call her. No, wait a minute. That's another thing. These phone calls have got to stop.
Huh?
You heard me. Here. Just look at this phone bill. Looks like the national debt. You can't pick up that phone, every time you feel like it. So from now on, young man, you are limited to one phone call a day.
One call? Oh, but, Dad,
No buts about it. One phone call. And by that, I mean a phone call just 3 minutes long. You understand? Because they charge an extra nickel for every 3 minutes.
She was okay, Dad.
Okay.
Operator, get me Riverdale 318. And hurry, please. But, Dad, couldn't we start this economy stuff a little at a time?
3 minutes.
Okay.
Hello?
Oh, hiya, Veronica. This is Archie. I can't talk too long, and I just wanted...
Hello, Archie.
Oh, God.
Hi, you all Archie-kin. It's awful nice to hear your voice, Archie.
Oh, no.
Gee, it's nice to hear your voice, too, Veronica.
Oh, Archie, you say the sweetest things.
Gee, you really think so?
Uh-huh. I've been just hoping you'd call.
Gee, you have?
Uh-huh.
Gee.
1 minute gone, Archie.
Hold on, Veronica. What did you say, Dad?
I said you've already giggled away 1 minute.
Gee whiz, I have? Oh, boy. Hello, Veronica. Listen, I can't stay on the phone too long because I had only 3 minutes and now 1 minute is gone already.
Archie, what are you talking about?
About phone calls. I'm only allowed 3 minutes on the phone.
My goodness, why only 3 minutes?
I don't know, Veronica. Dad started some new fad about saving money.
Archie, this is not a fad.
Just a minute, Veronica. What did you say, Dad?
I said, Archie, this is not a fad. This is a very serious and a very permanent matter. And another minute is gone.
Oh, boy. Hello, Veronica. Listen, we just wasted another minute, and I...
Wasted? What do you mean, wasted?
Well, I didn't mean you.
You're all talking to me wasting time?
Oh, no, Veronica, I didn't mean that. And please quit wasting the minute I have left.
What?
Well, I didn't mean that either, Veronica. I just meant...
Well, you've said it twice now. What do you mean?
I'll tell you later. But what I really called to say is
Your
that...
time's up.
Your time's up. I mean, about tonight, Veronica, we won't be able to...
Archie, your 3 minutes are up.
Gee whiz, Dad, give me just another second, please.
Archie, what are you talking about?
Archie, I said 3 minutes, and I meant 3 minutes.
Archie, are you there?
Hold on 3 minutes. Hold on, Veronica. Dad, won't you give me just one more Veronica? Won't you give me just one more minute?
I certainly will not. Now say goodbye.
She was okay.
Archie, say hello.
Hello, Veronica.
Archie, I said goodbye, not hello.
Gee whiz, Dad, I gotta say hello to say goodbye, don't I?
Archie, put that phone down or I won't let you use it for a week.
She was okay, Dad, okay. Bye, Veronica. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, but Archie, wait up.
Gee whiz, Dad, I just needed another few seconds to tell Veronica about tonight, and you just wouldn't...
You should have thought about that before you started giggling. Now, just write that down. Saved on phone call, 5 cents. Well, this is working out even better than I thought it would.
But, Dad, Veronica still doesn't know what we're doing tonight.
Then go over to her house and tell her all about it.
Go over there?
Yes, Archie. You can go over there to her house and spend as much time as you like, and it won't cost anything. No, but did you ever do that? Oh, no. It's easier just to pick up the phone and talk all afternoon and run up a bill. And that's just the kind of thing that has got to stop.
Okay, Dad, okay. I guess you're right. I'll go over there right now. Gee whiz, who can that be?
I'll get it.
Hello.
Oh, good grief. Jughead.
Would you expect Bonnie Braids?
No, Jughead, I did not expect Bonnie Braids, nor you either, but come on in.
Oh, gee, hiya, Jug. What are you doing here?
Hi, Archie. Nothing special. Just dropped in to see what you're doing.
Well, I'm just going over to Veronica's. You want to come along?
Sure, I got nothing else to... Gee whiz.
Gee whiz what?
Hey, where'd you get that big box of chocolates?
Oh, I bought that down at the... Chocolates! Now, wait a minute, Jughead, you can't...
Hey, they're good, too.
Jughead, you can't...
Just the kind I like.
Jughead, please.
Yeah, that's what I like about this house. Always got something good to eat around here.
Jughead, give me that box of chocolates.
Sure, help yourself. Oh, but leave the caramels. I like those.
Well, that's just too bad, but you can't have them.
Huh?
It just so happens we've started an economy program around here, and that box of chocolate costs almost $2. $2 a pound, and I don't see why I should leave it lying about here. It's free lunch for half the kids in Riverdale. Now, from now on, Jughead, eat before you come over here.
Gee, it isn't easy to break a habit so quickly. Even dope fiends are allowed to take raw.
Jug,
Can't I even have one last chocolate for old time's sake?
Please.
You want me to tell people you take candy from children?
Jughead, all right. So you can tell people I take candy from children, and that you're a dope fiend if you want to. But that candy costs money, and you can't have any more, so stop arguing.
I'm hungry.
Then go out in the kitchen and take some bread and butter.
Bread and butter?
Yes.
I just lost my appetite.
That's what I thought. And that's why you can't have any candy. So if you and Archie are going to Veronica's, just go and quit arguing.
Yeah, let's go, Jug. My father's serious about this saving stuff.
Okay. But how serious can you get? See you later, Dad.
Yeah, see you later. Well, saved some more money that time. Yes, sir. Let's see now. If I hadn't stopped Jughead, he'd probably have eaten another dozen chocolates. And that's a saving of 25 cents at least. So, saved on candy 25 cents. Well, so Mary thought I couldn't save any money this way, eh? Well, just wait till she sees how I've been... What the dickens was that? Oh, good grief, my car! Archie, where the dickens are you going?
Gee whiz, Dad, to Veronica's like you told me.
To Veronica? Archie Andrews, you mean to tell me you are going to save a 10-cent phone call and use up 50 cents worth of gas, oil, and brakes and tires just driving to Veronica's house and back?
Okay, Dad, I'll come back in and call her up.
All right, that's better. Call her up! Archie, you'll do no such thing.
But, Dad, if I can't have the car and I can't call her up, how am I going to tell her about tonight?
You can just walk over there.
Walk? Dad, it's an awful long walk to Veronica's house.
Archie, I don't care if it's an overnight hike.
Huh?
You're going over there to save money, and driving my car is the way to do it. If it's too far to walk, use your bicycle. But you cannot have the car.
But, Dad...
Archie!
He was okay, Dad. I'll put the car back in the garage.
Don't bother. Just leave it out in front in case I want to use it later. Driving up and down that driveway, you waste gas, too, you know.
Gee whiz, Dad, I didn't think this economy program was going to be this economical.
Well, it is. So you might as well get used to it.
Okay, Dad.
Nerve of those kids. Carousing around in my car for no good reason whatsoever. Just write that down. Saved on car, 50 cents. Yes, sir, this is even better than I thought. I've already saved $2.55. Now, by George, that's what I call economy. Yes, sir.
Fred, I'm home.
Oh, Mary, hello, dear.
Well, how's the big economy program going?
Well, Mary, if you'd really like to know, it so happens that in the short time you've been gone, I have saved no less than... Mary, where is it?
Where's what?
Well, all the groceries you went out to buy.
Oh, that. Well, Fred, when you changed the list to order 3 of everything, there was so much I couldn't possibly carry it home myself, so I told him to deliver it.
Deliver it? Deliver it? After the big speech I made about saving money when you shop.
Oh, Fred, don't be silly. The delivery's free.
Mary, the delivery may be free as far as the store is concerned, but I'll have to tip the delivery boy, won't I?
Tip the... Fred Andrews, you mean you're going to stop and quibble about tipping a delivery boy?
I certainly am. I said save pennies, and I meant it.
Oh, there must be the delivery boy now. But I think you're carrying this whole thing too far.
Mary, I am not carrying it too far. I said we were going to save money, and we're going to save money. These women give her a big lecture about saving money. So she goes to some fancy store with a fancy delivery service. I don't know why she couldn't just
It's
carry...
not the delivery boy, it's Tom Jenkins.
Tom Jenkins, what's he doing here?
Not so loud. Huh? He's standing at the door. He says he wants to borrow some machine oil.
Machine oil? Well, by George, he can't have it.
What?
No, sir. That old goat is over here every second day. Borrowing paint and putty and plaster and whatnot. And those things cost money. Oh, sir, he can't have the oil.
Now, Fred, you can't refuse him a little oil.
I certainly can. I am not going to save my penny so he can borrow me out of house and home. I'll tell him so myself.
Oh, now, Fred, don't be rude.
Now, Mary, you just leave it to me. Hello there, Tom, old man.
Hello, Fred. Hello there. I hate to bother you like this, old man, but you see, I'm doing a little repair work around the house, and, I just happen to run out of machine oil. You mind if I borrow yours?
Well, now, you know I don't mind, old fella, but it just happens that I'm out of machine oil myself.
Oh, you are?
Yep, awfully sorry. Haven't got a drop in the house anyplace.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I guess I'll have to run downtown buy some.
Yep, only thing to do, I guess. Sorry I couldn't help you out, but...
Dad, where's the machine oil?
On my workbench. The machine oil? What machine oil?
The machine oil I use on my bike. I'm going over to Veronica's house like you told me to, but the front wheel is squeaking like the dickens.
Archie, I don't know what oil you're talking about.
The machine oil, Dad. That big can of oil you bought last week.
Archie,
you used it just yesterday to fix Mom's sewing machine, you remember? And you even said one thing you'd never be without in the house is machine oil.
Oh, that machine. Oh, that. Well, I forgot all about that. Well, you know, Tom, this is lucky. Archie just reminded me that I have some machine oil after all.
You don't say.
Yes, I'd forgotten all about it. You know, it's funny. Archie, go get the machine oil for Mr. Jenkins.
Okay, Dad.
Funny how those things just slip your mind, you know.
Yes,
it's funny.
Yes.
Forgot all about it.
Yeah.
Got so much junk around the house anyway, I never know what I have half the time. You know how it is, don't you?
Yeah.
Here's the oil, Dad.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, here you are, Tom. Here's the old oil.
Oh, I see. Well, now, that's just fine. That's just what I need. I'll bring it back here just as soon as I'm through with it.
No hurry. Use as much as you like.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, I forgot I had it here for a moment.
Yeah.
Here, have a cigar.
Well, thanks. I don't mind if I do. Well, thanks a lot.
No, not at all. Drop in any time you need something.
Yes. Well, bye now. And goodbye, Mrs. Andrews.
Goodbye, Mr. Jenkins.
Bye, Tom, old fella. The old goat.
Fred Andrews, I've never been so embarrassed in all my life.
Well, now, Mary, how do you think I felt? I was embarrassed personally and financially. I not only had to give him the oil, but one of my best cigars, too. And this is all your fault, Archie.
My fault? Gee whiz, Dad, how did I know Mr. Jenkins wanted the machine oil?
Well, you should have known that old goat never comes over here unless he wants to borrow something. You should have known.
Don't you start blaming Archie for this. I told you penny pinching never works.
Now, Mary, it does work. Just because things went wrong that time doesn't mean it won't work other times. I know.
Here, the door again.
Riverdale Grocery.
Oh, my order. Fred, take the bags from the boy.
Good grief, did we order all that?
I got only what you told me to. And take those bags. The boy can't hold them all day.
All right, Mary, I'll take it. Ooh, these bags are heavy.
Boy, I'll say they are. This one's got 3 watermelons in it. You folks must sure like watermelon.
Yeah, we certainly do. Well, thanks a lot.
Oh, that's okay.
I really appreciate you bringing this over here. I certainly do.
That's okay.
Fred.
Yeah, Mary, let me handle this. I can take
Handle nothing. You've got to give the boy a tip.
Maybe he doesn't want one.
Fred, don't be absurd.
Well, I'm not absurd. Maybe the store has a rule against tipping employees.
Something wrong with the order?
Huh? What? Oh, no. Order's fine, I'm sure. Well, thanks again.
That's okay. Gee whiz, Dad, aren't you going to tip him?
Archie, who asked you?
Fred, stop. You've got to give the boy a tip.
Mary, I can't give him a tip when I'm holding these bags.
All right, then I'll tip him myself. Here you are, Sonny.
Thanks, lady. Goodbye.
Bye. Now, Fred Andrews, you listen to me. This money saving is going entirely too far.
And I tell you, it is not going too far. What the dickens was that?
Gee whiz, it sounded like an automobile accident.
Automobile?
Dear.
Oh, Archie, quick, open the door and see what it was.
Mr. Andrews, Veronica just ran into your car.
My car?
Oh, boy, it was parked in front of the house.
Oh, dear.
Oh, now, Archie, quick, take these bags here. I want to see what she did.
Gee whiz, Dad, I want to see too, Jug. Here, you take these bags.
Hey, don't say heavy.
Fred, stop passing those groceries around and put them down someplace.
Mary, I've got to see what's happened to my car.
Oh, boy, this bag is ripping. Fred, the groceries.
Jug, hold on to it.
It's falling.
You've been listening to another transcribed chapter of The Adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Carl Jampel and based on a copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie is played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Harlan Stone. Mom and Dad Andrews are played by Alice Yorman and Arthur Cole. Veronica and Betty by Gloria Mann and Rosemary Rice. Listen next Sunday at the same time for more of the merry adventures of Archie Andrews. This is Mel Brand saying so long till then.
That was Archie from 1951, and now we head even further back in time, a time when school dances were either formal or informal. And if you didn't wear a tux to a formal dance, well, you might as well not even show up. So put on your best duds and enjoy this episode of The Aldrich Family.
The Aldrich Family, based on characters originated by Clifford Goldsmith and starring Ezra Stone as Henry with Jackie Kelk as Homer.
Henry Aldrich.
Coming, Mother. And now for the Aldrich Family. Whatever and whenever the golden age was, it is less important to most people than the teenage, a time of life made notable by typical American boys like Henry Aldrich and all their mishaps. The scene opens in Mr. Aldrich's bedroom. It is just before breakfast.
But, Father, do you think that's fair?
Fair?
I don't mean to be rude, but do you?
Henry, every time you've asked to wear my tuxedo in the past, I've let you, haven't I?
Sure, Father, and that's just the point.
What is?
Isn't there such a thing as squatters' rights?
Squatters' rights would hardly apply to my tuxedo. Are you sure we can't rent one for your dance tonight?
Father, there isn't a tuxedo my size left in town.
Sam! Henry!
Then I'm sorry, Henry.
But Kathleen's bought a new formal and everything.
Aren't you coming down to breakfast?
Yes, Alice. Come along, Henry.
Father, I know you have the kind of mind that once it's made up, dynamite couldn't change it, but could we do this?
Do what?
Fix it so that you can wear your tuxedo to that concert tonight with a clear conscience.
My conscience is clear.
Sure, but if I had my own tuxedo, you wouldn't have me hanging over you.
Are you proposing that I buy you one?
You mean you'd consider it?
Certainly not. Henry, what's wrong with your blue serge suit?
My blue serge? Father, I give you my word, there's only one guy in the whole class who dare show up in civilian clothes, and that's Willie Marshall. And, Father, he has no pride whatsoever.
Then there's nothing more that I can suggest, Henry. And let's consider the subject closed.
My goodness, your eggs are getting cold. Please sit down, both of you.
Mother, I couldn't eat a bite.
Dear, you can at least drink your juice.
Well, I'm all choked up.
Henry?
I'm drinking it, Father.
Sam,
Yes, Alice?
do you know what I was thinking about your tuxedo?
Alice, Henry and I have agreed to close the subject.
We have?
And please answer the phone, Henry.
Yes, Father.
Drink your juice, Sam.
Alice, I'm afraid I'm not very hungry either.
Hello?
Hi, Henry. This is Willie.
Who?
Willie Marshall. And listen, Henry, how are you fixed for formal shoes?
What?
Formal shoes. Formal shoes. The closest thing I've got is a pair of black and white saddle shoes.
But, Willie,
I've always had trouble dancing in rubber soles. Have you got an extra pair of patent leathers?
No, I haven't.
Boy, except for those shoes, I'm practically set. I've got a stiff shirt, suspenders, and a real genuine cloth carnation.
Willie, you mean...
All I need now are shoes, black socks, cufflinks, studs, a muffler, and a girl.
Wooly, you're actually wearing a tuxedo tonight?
Sure, it's the most important dance of the year. Do you think I want to stick out like a sore thumb?
Well, gee whiz, where'd you get it?
From a waiter I know who's off duty tonight.
Oh, boy. You mean I'm going to be the only one there in just a blue serge suit?
You are? Henry, don't you have any pride whatsoever?
Listen, Willie, goodbye. I've got to go back to work.
On what?
Never mind. Goodbye. Father, could I have your permission to reopen the subject, providing I use a completely new angle?
Agnes, calm down. You're on the phone.
Calm down, Homer. How can I calm down when I'm miserable?
You mean your parents won't buy you a new formal?
No, they said the minute I stop growing in all directions, they'll get me one.
When will that be?
Well, it won't be before the dance. I know that.
But gee whiz, I've got my tuxedo all pressed and everything.
You have?
Sure, it's been under my mattress for a week. Look, Agnes, what's wrong with your old formal?
Homer, it's prehistoric.
What?
Sure, it's got a neckline that practically comes up to my chin. And I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb.
But, Agnes, what are we going to do?
I'll just have to keep working on my folks till I wear them down.
I know, but...
The only thing is, Homer, if I do talk them into buying a new dress, I can't get them to give me money for the tickets, too.
What? But, Agnes, that's our arrangement. I take you out and you foot the bill.
Homer, can't you make a sacrifice just this once?
How can I? I'm broke.
Why not ask your father for some money?
Agnes, I have a bargain with my father.
What bargain?
I don't mention money, and he doesn't mention my report card.
Look, Homer, if I hang up now, I think I can corner my father in the living room. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Homer, would you be willing to sign this protest?
Henry, can't you let me worry in peace?
But listen, it says, whereas and hereto, all and sundry know the country club gets pretty darn stuffy. To heck with tuxedos, and let's make this a simple dance where nobody dresses.
You don't want it formal?
Boy, have you ever tried putting on a tuxedo? You finally get the stiff shirt on, see? And then you have to lie on your back to put on your shoes.
But, Henry...
And by the time you're through, you're no good for anything. Sign here.
Well, before I do, I'd like to make just one minor change.
What?
Instead of all that junk about tuxedos, just say, whereas and hereto, we think it's a disgrace to charge money for tickets.
What?
Gee whiz, the dance is for members of our own class, isn't it? It's like charging to get into your own house.
But, Homer, I've got tickets.
And I've got a tuxedo.
Oh.
Look, Henry, how'd you like to do me a big favor?
What favor?
All you have to do is point out to my father that if your father gave you money for tickets, the least my father can do is get in the spirit.
Well...
Will you do that, Henry?
Sure, Homer, old-timer.
You will?
And while I'm doing that to your father, would you point out just one thing to my father?
Look at me, Father. Look at me. Isn't it heavenly?
What is that you're wearing, Kathleen?
My new evening gown for the dance tonight. Do you like it?
Where's the rest of it?
That's all there is.
What?
Isn't it heavenly?
Heavenly is hardly the word.
So, Father, would you be willing to point out to Mother that her pearls are just what I need to round me out?
Kathleen, you don't need rounding out. You need covering up. I want you to wear that lace shawl your grandmother gave you for Christmas.
A lace shawl?
Around your shoulders.
But, Father, it'll ruin the whole effect.
That's just what I had in mind.
Father.
Kathleen, I will not have you catching pneumonia in public.
But I've been taking vitamins. Don't you think that's enough protection?
I do not.
But, Father, if I go to the dance all covered up with a shawl, I'll stick out like a sore thumb.
Mr. Brown, is that you under the hood of your car?
What's that? Oh, it's you, Henry.
Yes, sir.
Hand me that small wrench, will you?
Sure, here.
Thanks. Well, what can I do for you, Henry?
For me? Why, I just happened to be casually passing by, and I said to myself, why not talk the whole thing over with good old Mr. Brown?
Talk what over?
Homer.
Oh. You're standing on my pliers.
Oh. Gee, poor kid. I keep thinking of him in that dance tonight. Everybody who's everybody is there, see? And where's poor old Homer?
Where?
That's just it. The biggest affair of the whole term. and he hasn't enough money to pay for his tickets.
Oh.
The poor kid. Doesn't it touch you?
It does not. It's his own fault. He spent every last cent he had in the world on a pair of waterproof rawhide boots.
Well, gee whiz, Mr. Brown, even if he did go overboard for a practical thing like waterproof boots, do you think you ought to make him suffer for it? I mean, boy, we all make mistakes.
You don't say.
Sure. Even I make them. Gee whiz, do you know what I did once?
What?
I put a dime in a peanut machine, see? And you know what came out?
What?
3-cent stamps. So you see, those things happen to the best of us.
Henry, it isn't easy for a father to teach his son that money doesn't grow on trees. But it has to be done. Now, if he's going to that dance, he'll have to dig up the ticket money himself.
But, Mr.
I
Brown...
have to think of his character.
But, gee whiz, Mr. Brown, think of me.
You?
Sure. When the band strikes up the first waltz, and I look out the window, and there's Homer. Poor kid. All dressed up in his tuxedo and no tickets. Staring in at us, with his nose pressed up against the window. Boy, I won't be able to dance a step.
You don't say.
Gee whiz, now that I think of him, poor kid, I've got half a mind to give Homer my tickets.
And not go yourself?
Yes, sir. I've got half a mind.
Henry, did Homer ask you to speak to me?
Homer? Well, gee whiz. Mr. Brown, I give you my word. Look, here are my 2 tickets. You give them to Homer.
You really mean that, Henry?
Sure.
You're positive?
Positive.
Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Brown, you mean you're really going to take them?
What's the name, mister?
Aldrich. And could you have it pressed by 3 o'clock?
3? Look, mister, I've got every tuxedo in Centerville in my shop.
Yes, I know. Well, as long as I have it in time for the concert tonight. Oh, and here, I'll pay for it now. Send it to 117 Elm Street.
Okay, mister, I'll try. But I've only got 2 hands, you know.
Yes, I know. Thanks very much.
Well, gee whiz. Hi, Mr. Aldrich.
Hello, Homer.
Boy, isn't that fantastic?
I beg your pardon?
Here I've been looking all over Centerville for you, and gee whiz, here you are.
You've been looking for me?
Yes, sir. I thought we might have a little chat.
Chat?
Yes, sir.
You and I?
Yes, sir.
Homer, I'm afraid I'm in a hurry. I'm driving out to see a client.
That's swell. I'll go with you.
What?
Then we can chat as we drive. All said, Mr. Aldrich. Mush.
What did you say?
Mush. That's Eskimo for let's start.
I see. Homer, what's on your mind?
On my mind? I look like I have something on it?
Frankly, it's hard to tell.
I just thought we'd have a chat. How are you, Mr. Aldrich?
Fine.
That's fine.
Well, now that we've had our chat, shall I let you off at the next corner?
Before I drop a hint about the sale.
What sale?
Why, the one the Emporium is having on practically everything.
You don't say.
Yes, sir. Especially tuxedos.
Tuxedos?
Yes, sir. Boy, if a person wanted to buy one, now's the time.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Homer, but I really don't need one.
Mr. Aldrich, I didn't mean you. I meant Henry.
I know you did.
Mr. Aldrich, why not look at it this way? Don't you want Henry to get married and get out of the house someday?
I certainly do.
Well, he'll need a tuxedo for the ceremony.
When that time comes, I'll scrape up the money somewhere. Homer, do you realize I'm driving all the way to Middletown?
You are? As far as that?
Yes, and it'll probably be several hours before I come back, so maybe it'd be best if I dropped you at the next corner.
Oh, no, Mr. Aldrich, I'll go along.
But, Homer...
From the looks of things, it may take me at least a couple of hours to have this little chat.
Hello there, Henry. What'll you have?
Gee, Mr. DeHaven, I don't know if I'm in the mood for anything.
Mr. DeHaven, do you happen to have a set of cufflinks and studs for as little as $1?
Cufflinks and studs?
That's one thing I haven't been able to dig up.
I'm afraid I don't carry them, Willie.
Oh. Say, Henry, would you mind if I have a few dances with your girl tonight?
My girl?
That's another thing I haven't been able to dig up.
Willie, I may not even be going to the dance tonight.
You won't? Gee, when we're having a swell orchestra and everything?
I know.
I hear they're even working their way through college. That's how good they are. Well, I'd better try someplace else for those studs. Hi, Homer.
Listen, Homer, where have you been?
Chatting Chatting with your father, and that's the last time I'll ever talk to a lawyer in my life, even socially.
Listen, Homer, speaking of fathers...
Boy, is he tricky. I had him to the point where any minute I thought he was going to say, okay, I'll buy Henry a tuxedo.
Yeah?
And the next thing I knew, there I was lending you mine.
What?
You'll never know how he did it.
Homer, your father did the same thing. I'm giving you my tickets.
What?
Gee whiz, we're right back where we started from.
Only vice versa.
Boy.
Henry, why should we both be miserable? Why don't we flip for it?
Flip?
Sure. The winner gets the tux and the tickets.
Double or nothing?
Sure.
It's a deal. I've got a coin in my pocket.
I thought you were broke.
I am. This is street guard token. Ready?
Sure, flip it. Heads.
Tails. What does it say, Homer? What does it say?
Not good after June 1st,
1939. Homer, that's tails. I win, Homer. I win the tuxedo.
Boy.
I'm all set.
I don't know how I'll ever break this to Agnes.
Here's a double cherry, Henry. It'll cheer you up.
Well, give it to Homer, Mr. DeHaven. He's the one who needs cheering up. I'll just run over to your house, Homer, and pick up your tux.
Okay. Have a good time, Hen.
Homer, you look in worse shape than Henry did.
I know. Boy, just two sides to a coin, and I had to pick heads. I could have just as easily said, wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Since when is not good after June 1st, 1939? Tails.
What?
Listen, Henry, you double-crosser, come back with my tuxedo.
Getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Since Henry had no tuxedo for tonight's big dance and Homer had no tickets, they flipped for both with a streetcar token. Henry won, but Homer feels that he'd been outsmarted, if not cheated. The scene opens in the Aldrich front hall. It is later the same afternoon.
Come on, Henry, hand it over.
Boy, Homer, are you a sore loser?
Sore loser? Since when is not good after June 1st, 1939? Tails.
Since 1939.
Listen, Henry, take my tuxedo off that hall banister and hand it over, or I'll turn you over to the police.
The police? The police? On what charge?
Gambling with a minor. I know when I've been tricked.
Tricked?
Henry?
Oh, gee whiz. Yes, Mother?
You weren't being rude to Homer, were you?
Rude? Gee whiz, no. Was I, Homer?
No, Mrs. Aldrich. He was very politely pointing out to me that I'm pig-headed.
Boys, I think you'd both better go in the kitchen and cool off with a glass of milk.
Yes, Mrs. Aldrich.
Yes, Mother. Come on, Homer, old pal.
Sure, Hen, old-timer.
And, Henry, you might run around the corner to your Aunt Harriet. She's making chocolate chip cookies.
Sure, Mother. I'd be glad to for good old Homer.
Sam, where are you?
Coming, Alice.
Dear, I've got to have a talk with you.
Of course, dear. Alice, why didn't you tell me my tuxedo had come back from the tailor's?
I didn't know it had.
Well, here it is, hanging on the banister.
Oh, I guess Mary must have answered the door. Sam, evidently Homer feels he was tricked into lending Henry his tuxedo for tonight.
Alice, I give you my word, Homer practically insisted on Henry wearing it.
But, dear, the whole thing is seriously affecting their friendship.
Very well, Alice. Very well. I'll just take Henry downtown this afternoon and buy him a tuxedo.
Oh, no, dear.
Why not?
Henry'll just feel you're backing down. It'll weaken his character.
Well, what do you suggest?
Sam, who's the man in the family?
Let me at that phone.
Number, please.
Elm 997.
Elm 997.
Why are you calling the Browns?
To talk to Will.
Well, just remember the important thing is to get both boys to the dance without spoiling them. I'll take your tuxedo up to our room.
Hello?
Will, this is Sam.
Sam, what's this I hear about Henry not giving Homer his ticket?
That's why I called, Will. Evidently the boys have changed their minds.
You mean Homer's going to pester me for the money again?
Exactly.
Sam, if I give in, he'll just get the idea he can wrap me around his little finger.
Will, I've got the perfect solution.
You have, Sam? What is it?
Well, I'll buy Homer his tickets, you see.
Yes.
And you buy Henry his tuxedo.
Say.
In that way, we both save face.
Sam, that's wonderful. Why didn't I think of that? You buy Homer the tickets, and I buy Henry the... Wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Sam, you can't pull a fast one like that on an old bird like me. The tickets cost $2, but a tux would cost $50.
But, Will...
I'm not that anxious to save face, Sam. Goodbye.
Will, wait, naturally. I'll pay for the tuxedo. Will? Well,
Sam, where are you going?
I'm going to put on my rubbers, and then I'm going out and send a telegram.
A telegram?
Mother, here are Aunt Harriet's cookies.
Well, take them into Homer. You're sending a telegram to whom, Sam?
Homer, old-timer, I've got... Well, I'll be darned. Listen, Homer, come in here.
Did you get the cookies?
Never mind the cookies. Where'd you hide it?
Hide what? Listen, Henry, who took my tuxedo off the banister here?
Homer, you aren't fooling me. You waited until I left the house, and then you sneaked it outside, didn't you?
Boy, are you an actor. I know darn well you've hidden it somewhere. Come on, where is it?
Where is it yourself?
Henry, stop shoving.
Stop shoving yourself.
Henry.
Homer?
Yes, young man?
A tuxedo that was brought in here to be pressed under the name of Aldrich?
Aldrich, I think so.
Oh, boy, I knew it.
Knew what?
Oh, nothing. I've come to pick it up.
It's right here on the rack. Here you are. It's all paid for.
It is? Boy, that's swell. Hey.
What's wrong?
Are you sure this is my tuxedo? It looks 4 sizes too large.
Young man, would you mind standing back from this pressing machine?
Well, let me try on the jacket. There, look at the way it swims on me.
Don't you want to be nice and casual?
Sure, but I don't want to overdo it. Suppose I'm dancing with Agnes and she turns me around fast. Where's the tuxedo?
What?
And even more important, where am I?
Look, young man, there are 75 dress suits on those racks that belong to the symphony orchestra, and they all have to be pressed by 7:30. Now, will you please stand back?
But could I prove you made a mistake?
Prove it?
Sure. You see this button?
Looks fine.
That's just it. My jacket didn't have one.
You don't say.
Sure, it was off.
You don't say. Come here.
What are you going to do?
There.
Hey!
Now it's your jacket.
Now, wait a minute.
Look, if I take the suit in for you, will you go away and let me press the orchestra?
Well, okay.
Just slip the trousers on in the back room.
Okay, but wouldn't it be easier to find my own tuxedo?
That is your tuxedo. And to think I left a good job on a steamroller for this. Yes, sir?
Excuse me, but do you have a tuxedo you're pressing under the name of Brown?
Brown?
Gee, I was sure Homer took his tuxedo and brought it down here to be pressed.
Boy, just look at these pants. If I pull them up, they'll cover my stiff shirt.
Homer, so I was right.
Listen, Henry, this'll teach you not to try to outfox me.
Homer, I won this tuxedo fair and square. Now hand over that jacket.
Boys.
Henry, let go of that sleeve.
Let go yourself.
Boys.
Let go.
Boys.
Let go.
Oh, boy.
Catch me.
Look out for that rack.
Homer.
Oh, no. Oh, the orchestra, the orchestra. Look what you've done to the orchestra.
How do I look, Mother?
Very nice, dear.
I do? I really do? Even sitting down? Boy, imagine finally getting a tuxedo of my own.
Yes, imagine.
The only thing is, why do you suppose Uncle John wired that money for a birthday present today?
Why,
my birthday isn't until next month.
He probably wanted to be sure he didn't forget.
I know, but gee whiz, he never gave me anything like $50 before.
Well...
you see, Uncle John suddenly sold that copper mine stock of his.
Gee whiz, who did he unload that on?
Why,
his town hall. Just drop us at the front entrance, Henry.
Yes, Mother. Gee, you're sure it won't inconvenience you to loan me the car, Father?
No, we'll get a ride home with someone.
Thanks a lot. Gee, a tuxedo and a car. Boy, this is going to be the biggest night of my life. Good night.
Have a good time, Henry.
Good night, son.
Sam, I'm very proud of you.
What for?
Dear, you know very well.
Alice, it really wasn't anything. If they ever do find copper in that mine, I'll make a fortune out of that stock. Let's go in. The concert's due to start.
You know, Sam, I still think you should have gotten yourself a tuxedo when you went down with Henry.
Alice, for the last time, this tuxedo's all right. It's just comfortably snug.
If you say so, dear. Just be careful when you sit down. Let's go to our seats.
Oh, that's strange.
Well, what's wrong?
I'm positive I put the tickets in my jacket this morning.
Sam, you mean you don't have them?
Let's not get excited, Alice. Maybe someone found them and turned them in at the ticket window. Oh, excuse me, mister.
Yes, sir?
Did someone turn in 2 lost tickets? 3rd row, center?
No, they haven't. I'm sorry.
Sam!
Alice, I can buy other tickets.
As a matter of fact, I do have 2 left in the last row.
Sam, take them or we'll miss the first number.
There's no rush, madam. We're starting a half hour late.
A half hour late? Why?
Well, the orchestra had some difficulty with their dress suits tonight. They're still getting them sorted. Here you are, sir. $4, please.
Hey, Agnes, look who's here.
Hi, Mrs. Aldrich. Hi, Mr. Aldrich. How do we look?
Lovely, dear. Is that a new formal?
I'll say I got up 5 minutes before the store closed.
You don't say.
Yeah, my father finally agreed my request was perfectly reasonable and told my mother to buy me the formal before he went out of his mind.
But why aren't you two at the dance?
We're making a real evening of it. The concert and then the dance.
You don't say.
Have some popcorn.
Popcorn?
That's the only way I can enjoy concerts.
Homer, you mean your father finally gave in and bought you the tickets for the dance?
No, the tailor did.
What's that?
Sure. All I had to do was promise to use the tailor shop on the other side of town from now on.
And he threw in tickets for the concert, too?
No. Gee, it's the strangest thing how I got those. I just happened to reach into the inside pocket of my jacket, and there they were.
What?
3rd row center.
Sam.
Homer, isn't that tuxedo a little loose on you?
Gee, you should have seen it before the tailor sewed me together.
And was there a button missing on your tuxedo jacket?
Gee whiz, how did you know?
Never mind. Will you step into the washroom with me for a minute?
Listen again next week, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith.
Well, I hope you enjoyed these great old radio shows and can relive your teenage years with a laugh. I'm John Henderson. You can find more about me at thisdaybenny.com.